hello. Welcome to today's section. Today's section we are going to be looking at intro to Visual Basic. We are going to be looking how we can use the Visual Basic to design beautiful application. So I'm going to search for my Visual Basic application, and I'm going to go to my search box, and here is my search box in my PC, and I'm going to write the name Express. Express, as you can see, Micro Visual Basic 2010 Express, that is it. Micro Visual Basic 2010 Express is a desktop application that we use to create um, applications. Now this is how it look like. Now this application, I've opened it, and this is the application. Now this application, it help us to create desktop application. And what do I mean by desktop application? Any application on your laptop is called a desktop application, but this what we have here called Microsoft Visual Basic 2010 Express, it allows us to create desktop application. We can use it to create desktop application. So now when you open this software, this is the software. This is the software. So how do we start a new project? Now, first of all, this is the interface of the software. The first thing I'm going to click on is new project. I click on new project to create a new project, and I click on open project to open my recent project. As you can see, all my recent project, if I want to open it, I can always see them here, and I can open them here. But now I want to create a new project, so I'm going to create a new project, which is here. I'm creating a new project, and is loading. Now over here, hold on a moment. Okay, so over here now we have Windows Form application, and we have other template. These are template, but ensure that the template is clicked here. Ensure that it is on this, which is window form application. So everything what we are going to be doing, we are creating window forms application. The name of the application that we are creating is a window form application. It is not a console application. It is not this. It is a window form application. So here you are going to write the name of the application, and I'm going to title the name demo login screen. That is the title, demo login screen app. That is the title of the application that we are creating. So it's a window form application. So this is where I write the name, and I press OK. And I press OK. Now you are going to wait for some time, and our coding environment is going to open up. Our coding environment is going to open up. So let's wait. Currently, okay, now it has opened up. We were formerly in the start page, but now we are now in our coding environment. As you can see, that the name of the app is written demo login screen app. Now this is the form. This is the form. This is the form. This is where we design our app, how we are going to make our app look like. And there's a place where we are going to write how the app is going to work. So an application has two parts. There is how it look like, that is the front end of the application, and there is what makes it work. When you log in, what make it accept your password. There is that what is responsible for that is the code. Is the code. It is the code. So every application has how it look like, which is the design aspect, and has what is responsible that makes it work. When you open your Facebook, there is a way your Facebook look like, and when you click on like, and you see that you can like a post, or when you are on Mavis Beacon or Subway Surfer, there's a way it look like. But when you scroll it up, what makes it jump is because there's a code that has been written that makes it jump. So the design of an application is different from what makes it work. So in this section, we are going to be focusing on the design of the application, but I want to show you this is where we do the design. And if I go to view, I have where the design is, which is this design. Then I have where the code is, where I can write the code. So this is for the code and this is for the design. Now we are going to be creating something beautiful, and this is what we are going to be creating. I'm going to show you from my gallery, which is in my. So what is a login screen? What login screen am I talking about? Now this is my system over here. This is how my system looks like. If you on my system, if you on my system, turn on my laptop, this is my how this is what is going to show after a while. When you press enter, this was what is going to show. And as you can see, it has a box where you put in your password, and it has a place where you click on for I forgot my password and sign in option. So we are going to be creating something like this. This thing that you see on your laptop. Some laptop you don't need to put in your password. Some laptop you can you are the one that set it that you don't need to put any password, while some system you might need to put in password depending on how you set up the system. For my own system, I set it in such a way that I put in a password. So now we're going to be building something like this. We're going to be designing something like this, and I'm going to show you how we can use Visual Basic to design how an application can look like. Now looking at this login screen, we see there are different components. The first component here is the picture component. This place is used to show your picture. You can upload and put your picture here. Now this is for picture. This is a picture. As you can see, it is a picture. So we call it the picture component. Now this one here, it's a text. Is a text, and this text we can identify it as a label. This is a label. Now why is this called a label? Now this is called a label is to tell us the person that owns this system. So it's to tell us the name, the owner of this system. That is the reason for this label. So this label signify the owner of the laptop, and you can see it is my email that is there. So this can be called a label. Why am I saying all these things? Because in Visual Basic, what I'm trying to tell you is that when you want to create something like this in Visual Basic, because it is used to signify who owns the system, so we use the label component. Just like when you buy a new cloth, there's some tag on it, so we use the label component. So this is a label. Label is used to signify or give instruction or say something to the user. Now this is a box. As you can see, it is a box, and this box is where I enter text. So the component we use to create this box is called a text box. Now this is a button, because when I write in my password and I press this button, I can log in into my system. So what we use to create this arrow here is called a button. Now I forgot password and sign in option. We use label. So label generally are used to create some text that give that some text on your system that help the user understand some things, that help the user understand, okay, if I click here is I forgot my password. So we use label for this. Now we are going to go to Visual Basic to create this. Now this is my Visual Basic. So all those things that I mentioned, we use some components to create those stuff. We make use of some components to create those stuff. So where are those components found? Those components are found in a place I call the toolbox. This is the toolbox. This is the toolbox. So as you can see, the toolbox has a list of tools that I can use to design how my application will look like. So now we are going to go to the toolbox. So now the toolbox, I want to set it in such a way that I can see my design. So I'm going to use my left hand on right click, and I'm going to roll the mouse while my left hand is still on left click I mean. So while my left hand is still on left click holding it, then I hold the mouse and I can put it here, I can put it down, I can put it here. So anywhere I move my mouse to and I remove my hand, it stay there. But I move my mouse like this, I choose to put it this way, and I remove my left hand from the left click. So as you can see, I can see my design form now. So I can shift it a little bit, and now I can see my form. So these are the list of tools. These are the list of tools. I can also increase my form using my left hand on the left click and using my mouse to draw it. Draw it so I can increase my form also. I can increase it this side also. When I see the arrow, I left click and use my mouse to draw. So now you can see the form is now big. Okay, let me make it more bigger. So you can see a desktop, my laptop screen should look like this. I'm trying to make it big in such a way how my laptop screen look like. So now the first thing I want to create now is the picture, that circle picture that you saw on my system. This is the picture. So this is the picture here. The first one to create this picture. So in Visual Basic, there's what we call a picture box. What we call a picture box. Now this is the picture box. So the picture box is a square box. It's actually not a circle. It's a square box. In another section, we can see perhaps if you can treat the circle, how to create a circle shape. But this picture box is a square box. It is a square box. So I've created the picture. I've created the picture box. So this is the picture box. So now the picture box, I can put in a picture inside. But before I put in a picture, let's create the other component. Now the other component that we have here is the next one is this name. Like I said, this is a label. It's used to send a message to the user. I use it to send a message to the user. It is a label, is used to instruct, is used to guide the user now. And the component I used to create that is a label is the label tool. So I'm going to go here now. This is the label here, and I click on it, and this is the label. Now the label, each component has a property. Now I use the label tool to create this, and I use the picture box to create this, to create the picture component, and I use the label to create this. Now I can edit these properties. So this name here, I want to change it to be this name. I want to change it to this name. Are you following me? I want to change it to this name. So how do I change it? When I click here, the property of the picture box, as you can see, property of picture box is showing here. And when I click here, the property of the label is showing here. So to change the name of the label, I I just have to go down, and this is the text here. the label text. So I'm going to write the name there, which is Peter. Um, so I'm writing the name. So as you can see, I have written the name. I have written the name. Now I can make the name a little bit bigger. So I'm going to make the name bigger. This is the properties. I can use it to edit any component. I can use it to edit anything on the label component. So if I want to increase the size, I go to font. So this is the font here, and I click on it, and I click here, and it takes me to the size, and I can make it 16. So okay, so you can see the size is now 16. So I can also increase it again to, I can increase it, I can change the font. So now 16 is okay, or let's say 18. So 18 is okay. So we can see that. So now I'm going to go now. This box was created using text box. So text box is what we use to enter text. So if you want to create a component that you can use to enter your text, you use what I call the text box. If you want to create something for entering of text, you use the text box. Anything for entering of text, you use the word text box. So if we are looking for the text box, this is the text box. As you can see, it is already there. It says enables the user to enter text. Enables the user to enter text. For the label, you see is already there. Provide descriptive text. So you see label provide descriptive text. It describes. So if I press my text box and I go here and I use my left, okay. So this is the text box. So this is the text box. So um so this is the text box. So I'm going to go to my okay, it's kind of bigger. So if you want to make it bigger, you click here and you go to multi-line. So you can make it more bigger here. So make it bigger. So now we have made it bigger. So the next thing we are going to do now is we have created our text box. We have created our text box. We have created our text box. So now the next thing we can create is the I forgot my password. I forgot my password. Let me make the text box a little bit smaller. I forgot my password. So that is also can also use label to do that. So I forgot. So if I go to my label, so I'll go here and I'm going to put I forgot my password. So that is it there. Now if you go to my if you go over here, there is a button that you can click on that will make my system to open if my password is correct. So this thing is a button. The component we use to create is a button. So if you are creating something that the user can click on, something that the user can click on, something for action, we use the button component. So where is the button component in our toolbox? So if we go up, this is the button component. So if I click on it, now as you can see, it said raise an event when the user click on it. So the button component is used to you use it to do something when the user click on it. So I'm going to create a small button component here. So okay, I'm going to create a button component here. So now you can see this is our button component. going to make it the same height with this one. Okay, now if you notice from here, the button component here has a arrow. It has a arrow, so I'm going to make that, I'm going to write that arrow. So on the button, if I click on the button, you can see the property appear here. If I click on text, the property will appear. So I will ensure that I click on button and the button is highlighted. So I can go to the text here and edit it and press the arrow. So I'll press enter. So as you can see, the arrow is showing. I can also increase the font size to make it a little more bolder. So, and I press OK. So it's bolder. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my picture. I'm going to put my picture. Now, how am I going to put my picture? I'm going to click on, I'm going to right click. And when I right click, I'm going to press choose image. Choose image. Let me go back there so you can see it. Okay, choose image. So now when I choose my image, I'll ensure that it is on local resource, not project resource file, local resource, and I go to import. So import. Now I'm going to choose my picture. Now the picture I'm going to choose, it is inside here. So I'm going to choose this. I'll press open. So this is the picture. I'll press OK. Now the picture is white because some part of the picture are white, but I want it to show the face of the picture, the center of the picture, the center of the picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press here and I'm going to change the, you can see is this place I clicked on. Now I'm going to change the size mode to stretch image. Yes. So you can see the stretch image. That means it changes it to the center of the picture. So now we have the picture as the center. So now the next thing we are going to do is from this image you can see that this name is white and the background has a very beautiful background. So like I said, every component has a property. This the property is I edit it from here, this I edit property from here. So to edit the form property, we click on the form. As you can see, the form has been highlighted. There is a mark showing around the form. Can you see that mark? Okay. So now this form, we can change the color. We can change the color from here, from back color. So if we change the color, we can choose any color. So let's choose this one for example. As you can see, the color is blue. You can also change this one, like you see is highlighted, so that means the label I can edit it here. So let me change this one to white since the color was white. So I've okay, okay. So this one, this is the back color. I can change the background color. So I'm going to change it back. So as you can see, I can change the color. I can actually change the color. So this back color, I actually change it to the background color of the text, but I want to remove it from the background color. I want to remove it from the background color. Okay. So I'll remove it from the background color. that is the text. So what I want to do is that I want to change the not the background color but the text that is black. I want to change it to white. So now I've changed it to white just like as it is here. I've changed it to white. I've changed it to white. I can also make it to be more bold in the font. Let's make it more bold. So I've made it to become more bold. So this one also I can also change it to white. Let me also change it to white. So you can see I have changed it to white. So this is how it looks like. So if you look at the something, the button had a kind of blue or grey color. So I think this color is okay. So you can see this is the login system. So apart from that, we can also change the background. Let's change it to a beautiful background color and see what happen. Let's change the background to a background image. You can also change the image of the background. You can change the image of the background. And for you to select a background image, I think there's a way you can select a background image. And how do you select a background image? When the form is highlighted, go to background image. This is background image here, and you click here. And like just the same way, go to local resource, you press import. Let's use this Eclipse wallpaper. Yes, okay. Then let's use okay, the background image, okay. Then let's make the background image stretch. Let's turn it to stretch. So you can see then this one over here, let's remove it from highlight. So as you can see, this is the background image. So make this one transparent. So this is the image. So you can see we are almost having something like so. This one also, you can also make it transparent from the back color. We go here, then we go to web and make it transparent. So as you can see, we are making it look a like this one over here. So this is how you create a form. This is how you create a form, a login form. Then for the password, we can also edit it, that we can also um change the property of the text box, that whatever we enter, let it appear as a password, because if you run the program, if you run the program when we write, like now I'm writing something, so you can see the program is running and it's running. So if I click on enter, nothing happen because we need to code something for something to happen. We need to program something, we need to code something for for this button to work. So let's close our program. So now if I want anything the user enter to show as a password character, ensure the text box is highlighted. Now maybe I'll need to use the code for that. As you can see, this is how a login this is how the login system works. So now if you click on the button, if you click on the button, it will take you to where you write the code to do something, to code in something that will happen when the user click on the button. So if you can remember from everything we treated, we use the picture box to create this, we use the label to create this, we use the text box to create this, we use the button to create this, and we use the label to create this. And if you can remember, this is our toolbox. Our toolbox, another way to bring out the toolbox, now the toolbox is not showing, but another way to bring it out is to go to view, go to other windows and go to toolbox. So now it's going to appear, it's going to appear, view, other window and toolbox. So that should bring out the toolbox. That should bring out the toolbox. So now the toolbox is already here. So that is a way to bring out the toolbox. So why the system is doing like that? Because of the picture. So we can change, let's change it back to background image. We can change the we can change the back color. We can remove the background image, and we can clear the background image and leave it as the back color. So thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. Hello. Now this is our visual basic. This is our visual basic, and we have done the design of the application. As you can see, you can use color as the background, or you can use a you can use a picture. So currently I'm actually using a picture as my background. I'm using a picture as my background. I'm using a picture as my background, so as you can see the picture. So you can change the background to a color or use a image. So now we want to actually make this design work, because we want to actually make this program work. What we've just done is just how the application looks like, but we want to actually make it run. As you can see, if I run the program, um nothing is happening, only the design is showing, only the design, nothing is happening. So we want to now make it work. Now what are we going to do to make it work? We want to do it in such a way that a user can enter his password, and once the user click on the button, is going to take the user to another place. Is going to take the user to another place, just as when you enter your laptop and you write the password, and when you click on enter, it takes you to the home screen. So we're going to develop a program that takes us to like another page or another form, and this program is only going to accept a certain password. Just like when you put a wrong password, it's going to reject it that this is the wrong password. So it's only going to enter a new page when the password is correct. So this is how the program is going to work. So first of all, before creating any program on Visual Basic, you have to have an understanding how the program is going to work. You have to have an understanding how the program is going to work, because you are telling the computer to work in a certain way. You are giving the computer an instruction. So now if I go to the code, I want to write it. I want to write down the what I want to create, and I'm going to write it in such a way that only me can read it. The computer can't actually read it. So I use this. So the first thing I'm creating is um how what I'm creating is a login app that only accept a certain password and takes me to my home screen while I am writing the password. Let it stay hidden, and I can make it show. So this is what I'm going to be doing on my system. This is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be creating a login app that accepts a certain password and takes me to my home screen. And while I am writing the password, let it stay hidden and I can make the password show. Now I'm going to show you exactly how that is going to work. So how is that going to work? Now this is my code. Now this is the form. The name of the application is form 1. So everything that is going to happen within form 1 is going to be written here. So everything that is going to make the app work is going to be written in this place, in this place. So this is where the code starts from, this is where the code end. As you can see, public class form 1 and end class. So this is the program for form 1 to run. So the program will start from here and end here. So what I just wrote here is a comment that the computer can't read, it can't execute. So it's a non-executable comment and we'll go into it. So now what I'm going to do, the next thing I'm going to do now is to ensure the password cannot, when I'm writing my password, is going to stay hidden, just like when you are writing your password on Facebook on your system. Now how do I do this? Every component has a property. Every component has a property and this is the text box. The property here is the property here is use system password character, and as you can see, by default it has been set to false, but I'm going to set it to true. So I'm going to set it to true. So when I set it to true, I'm going to ensure that this place is not marked. So you're going to ensure that this multi-line, it is not marked, because if it is marked it won't work, but ensure it is not marked. And then if I go to my debug and I start debugging, now as you can see, it is showing as a password character. It is showing as a password character. So you see, it looks like a system login. So going to remove the password. So it looks like a password. Now there's something that I need to do to make the password show and to make the password to be hidden. To make the password show and make the password hidden. Now the component I'll use for that is the checkbox. The checkbox. So if I click here and I'm going to put my text box here. Now I'm going to put now this is my text box. So now the text box, I'm going to change the back color to transparent to make the background image show. So I'll change it to transparent here. So now, and I'm also going to change the color to white. So from here I'm going to change it to white. So as you can see it's white. Then I'm also going to remove the name, that is checkbox 1. So I'm going to remove the name. So let me shift this button a little bit and take the text box here. Okay, so now the text box, now what I want it to happen is when I run my program, let's start debugging. When I run my program, what I actually want to happen is when I write my password and I press this text box, this checkbox, the password show. When I press it again, it stay hidden. When I press it, it shows. When I press it, it stay hidden. So how do I accomplish this? So the way I'm going to accomplish this is the way I'm going to accomplish this is when I go to my text box, I need to write a code that when the text box is being clicked, is being marked, the password will stay hidden and the password will show. So for me to write that code, I need to click on the text box twice. So when I click on it twice, my code is where I'm going to write my code for the checkbox to work like that is going to appear. So when I click on the checkbox twice, now I've stopped the program from running. So when I click on it 2 times, so now As you can see, this is where I'm writing all my code for the form application to work. It starts from here and it end here. So for the checkbox, to make the checkbox work the way I want it to work, this is where I'm going to write the code for the checkbox. As you can see, the checkbox it starts from here and it end here. So for the checkbox, I'm going to write the code here for the checkbox. So for the checkbox, the way I want it to work, and also the button, if I what I want what anything I want to happen on the system, when I click on the button, when I there's a code I'll write for it. So when I click on the button two times, the way what I want, the event that I want to occur, the code for that event that I want to um happen when I click on the button, I'll write the code here. So now our focus now is on the checkbox. It is on the checkbox. So what is the instruction? I said that the instruction is like this, that if the user check the checkbox, the password is going to stay hidden. So else if the user check the checkbox, it's going to stay hidden, else it is going to show. So what I mean is, now let me give you an example. So now computer works with instructions. So first of all, you have to think, you have to know, you have to have the instructions stated out clearly inside a paper or a book. You have to have the flow chart stated. You have to have the step by step instructions stated before you begin to write them out in code. Before you begin to write them out in code. So let me write the instruction clearly here. If the user um check the the check box, let the password show. Let me write it again. Else, let else if the user uncheck, let the password hide. So how does this work? Now the checkbox is a control and it has property, and one of the property is the check property. As you can see, this is the check property. The check is set to false by default. So if I set it to true, you will see it's going to show click on, and if I set it to false, it's going to show false. And you can see the name of the checkbox, the name is called checkbox one. So it's very easy for you to write it in programming language. So it's very easy. So you just have to say if checkbox, as you can see, it has already highlighted checkbox one dot check is equals to true. So if checkbox one dot check is equals to true, then see, this is the then what happen? This is a text box. You can see the name is text box one, and it also has a property called use system password character, which I set to true. That is why you see I can put in my password is hidden. So now we are saying that if the checkbox is checked, that means the text box one dot use system password character is equals to false, right? Is equals to false. So is equals to false. So all this comment here can't be read by the computer, can't be executed by the computer. It is a non-executable comment. It is a non-executable code. This one right here, it just give me guide on how I'll write my code. So this is the next line of the code. Else if, so now currently else if check box one dot check equals to false. Then now I want to show you something. To make a code non-executable, you just need to put in this thing at the front. So now this code cannot be run by the system because of this um sign at the front. So I want to check this to know whether it is working. So let's start our debugging. So you see I put my password and now currently it is not showing, but if I click on this you can see it's showing. But if I uncheck it, it is not it does not revert back because I've not written the code for it. So I want to write the code for it. So let me remove, so I'm going to remove this thing. So now my code, this code now, because I've removed that sign or column, my code can be read by the computer. So then text box one dot use system password character equals to true, and the if has been ended, so end if. So this is where the if starts from, else if, and this end the if. So as you can see, this is the code that I used to make the checkbox work that way, and is written in between private sub checkbox check change end sub. So you can see private sub checkbox check change from the beginning to end sub is what happened, what the code, it's the code of what is going to happen when the checkbox is being marked. So that is the code that I wrote in between private sub checkbox check change and end sub. That is the code here. So if you go to the debugging and let's start again, and I write my code and I check back, so you can see it's changing. So now I'm going to stop the code. Now I need this button, when I click on this button, to take me to another form, to take me to another screen, to take me to another page. So let's create like a home page for this, for our application. Let's create a home page, and to create a home page, let's create another form screen. So to create another form screen, we'll go to project, then we'll go to add window form. Add window form. So this is it here, window form. So our form is form 2, then we can press add. So this is form 2. So let me give it a nice background image, a nice interface. So I'm going to change the background image here. So as you can see, I change the background image from here, local resources and import. So this is the background image I'm going to use. Okay, so I can change the background image layout here. This is where I can change the layout, the next line. So I go to stretch. So this is the layout, this is the layout. So this is like the, let's say this is like our home screen. This is like our home screen, the home screen of your computer, where you have all your application and your start button. So now we want our button to take us, we want this application to take us to the home screen. We want this application to take us to that screen, to that new home screen. So now if I want, so what I want to happen is that when I click on this button, I should go to that home screen. I should go to that home screen. So if I want to write a code that will make me go to the home screen, I click on this button 2 times and it takes me to where I can write that code. So you can see I'm going to write that code in between private sub button one click and end sub. So this is where I'm going to write the code for the button to work that way. So how I just need to write is form 2 dot show. So that is all I just need to write, and when I debug the program, unless I put in any password and I click on the button, so you can see it takes me to this home page, which is form 2. So it takes me to the home page. So now I want it to work in such a way that if it can only accept a certain password, and let's say that password is my name. For example, it can only accept a password and that password is my name. So it's if that is not the password, it's going to reject, is not going to allow you to enter the home screen. So how are we going to do this? We are also going to go to the same button code. So how are we going to do it? So let's write the instruction. So this is the instruction we are giving the computer. If password is not is not my name, is not my name, remember it cannot execute this. um Tell the user to to click on forgot password. So if password is not my name, else, so I'll say else if it is my name, let form2 show. So this helps, this you have to write the instruction, you have to write it step by step so you know how you are going to write your code. So now how do we go? So the password, if password is not my, and where am I writing the password? I'm writing the password inside the text box. So it's if text box one, as you can see, whatever you put inside here is the text. So you can see this is the text here. So you can see anything I put is the text. So if text box one dot text equals to, so I'm going to put my name and I'm putting it in the middle of apostrophe Paul. So take note of the capital letter. Then the form 2 is going to show. So I just need to copy only this. I just need to just cut it and take it here. So I'm going to say else you can remember in my form this thing is showing I forgot password. So I'm going to change it to wrong password. Else label one dot text equals to wrong password. So let's try it. So let's try it. So if I put in any password, and I press enter, it says wrong password. So I think it's, let me use label 2 because we have two label. So I'm going to stop my program and now I'm going to use label 2. So if I write anything and I put, it is going to write wrong password. So if I write anything, it's going to say put wrong password. But if I press the correct password, I'm taken to the other page. Scroll. So as you can see, the code is working correctly. So I use label 2 because we have two label. So so this is the code. You can see from here we have from 1 up to the ending. So when you click on checkbox 2 times, it bring in something and it bring in the place where you can write the code for the checkbox to work the way you want it to work. And when you click on button 2 times, it bring in where you can write the code for you to make the button work the way you want it to work. So we can run the program one more time. So as you can see, I wrote my name, I can see it, I can unsee it, and I press enter and I'm in a new page. So thank you very much.